Interesting. Well, it's going to be an interesting season.
Yes.
Let's move on to this woman. Her name is Meredith Marks.
Okay, okay.
What are you feeling about
Is
Meredith?
Meredith is like she is another intensely strong person. I feel like she can be a very good team player. She definitely likes the idea of the soulmate. Like she has a lot of like spiritual nature to her, but she's also at the same time, she can be very like vindictive, like easily gets into the jealousy aspect of things, easily gets into like, you know, topics of like things and she can escalate things a little bit more, you know what I mean? But she also has this like softer side of her too, which I thought was cute that they kind of gave me her like romantic side first, but she like really loves the idea of a soulmate, really loves the idea of like this powerhouse type deal. But she's also like on the other side of the scale, she's like she has two type personality, like type A and type A, but on
I
both sides.
wonder if she's a Gemini like I am.
She probably could be. I don't know, man,
I
because I just
know.
see two faces with her because she's got this really like beautiful, positive, soft side, and then this other side is like the devil and the angel type deal, and she like can be very vindictive. Vindictive. That's the word I'm getting right now. Vindictive.
Vindictive. I can see that about Meredith. Well, she's on a show called Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. She
Oh,
too has some stuff going on around her. Now, there is this rumor. Now, we don't really know for sure. I mean, I have an idea. There's a rumor that she was suspended. I mean, she's still there. She's still on the show, but that she was temporarily suspended.
okay.
Before I get into her statement on
She's
this matter,
yeah. There is definitely a lot of legality and legal troubles going on with her too, as well. A lot of legal troubles. And that's what I'm really, really picking up with her. She's got a lot of she's really trying to put one foot in front of the other to try to get things mended. Meredith was, things got out of, I keep hearing things got out of hand. Things got out of hand, you know? So her character of like the two side of things, you know what I mean? One's trying to say out, be like, oh, things came out of hand. And then the other side of saying she deserved it. You know what I mean? Not Meredith, but somebody else did. I feel like there's definitely some legal trouble going on here because I do feel like there's a judgment happening here
legal
outside
trouble regarding this, or do you see legal trouble just in her personal life that
our personal life. And also probably maybe something to do contractually or something like that. I don't know. I just feel like there's a mounting trouble that's happening with her because I do feel judgment or judgments around her.
interesting?
So legal wise with things. Um, I feel like she is not really getting counseling right now, and she probably should. You know what I mean? And she's just very, very stuck, but she's angry, angry, you know?
She's angry too.
She wants to be seen as like I said, I feel like there's a part of her who wants to be like the positive person of things, you know what I mean? But then I feel like she feels like Rotten Tomatoes keep get thrown at her, and then she just has to be this person to protect herself, and she self isolates and she criticizes and this whole thing about her being suspended was like honestly it was almost like necessary because I feel like things were getting to a place where it was going to get really, really bad and we didn't want things to get physical,
Well, a
you know.
lot of people, it's funny you mentioned physical. A lot of people say that that's what it happened. A lot of people in the know are saying that's what happened, that she called this other woman Brittany, which I don't think this would get you suspended. What do I know? She called this woman Brittany an anti-Semite and a pedophile, which, I mean, you do, I mean, and those are harsh things to say, but I don't know if that leads to a
Uh,
suspension. Now,
no, I feel physical contact leads to a suspension.
right. And there are people that work on this show that have one viewpoint that have been in my ear. Now, Meredith has made a statement. I was not suspended and have never been physically violent in my life. Now, no one mentioned physical violence. So you just did. I find that an
Huh.
interesting statement. Like it's almost like, like if the police knock on your door because you're having a party and it's loud and you're like, I was nowhere near Nicole Brown's house that night. Well, we're not accusing you of killing, being the OJ killer.
Exactly.
It's kind of like you just like that's so
You just
I
kind of
found this, yeah, like I found, it's funny you mentioned physical violence. I found this statement interesting. I was not suspended and have never been physically violent in my life. I don't think anyone was mentioned physical violence. I think she just did. Please stop fostering these lies started by some people work overtime with their smear campaigns. So she's implying like it's her castmate and she was never suspended. She is there. But you could still be suspended for a day, an hour. There's suspensions. It's like in school, you get suspended, you still go back unless you're expelled. So suspended doesn't mean expelled. So it is interesting. I found that it's funny you say physical because I didn't tell you that, and no one has
No.
mentioned that. I think she outed herself. I think.
I 110%. I definitely agree because I feel like, yeah, so calling some of those things is, you know what I mean? Words are words, but I can definitely see a physical attack here. You know what I mean? Where she had to be removed from the environment. Um, and like I said, there are things that other side of her doesn't want to be villainized. She wants to be seen as that a happy, positive person, but this right now, I do feel like she's trying to push onto somebody else or to push them, say, well, they pushed me, so I pushed back. You know what I mean? Yeah, there was pushing, you know what I mean? But I do see a physical altercation, that would have definitely had her removed, and then that leads to legal issues outside too as well, because that other person is gonna definitely press charges personally, you know what I mean, for, like, emotional damages or you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, don't
maybe
mess up.
that's what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, if someone put their hands on me, I would be pressing charges. There's nothing you could say to me that would
Oh, yeah.
cause me to change my mind. Like I would be, the ship would have been sailed if you.
Oh, absolutely. It's just uncalled for. Like, words are one thing, and we have to be
Mhm.
careful with the words anyway because it can hurt just as much as the physical punch, but you know what I mean? There's other ways that we can manage our need to reach out and smack somebody, but this was the launch. Like, she launched at this person. That's what I'm feeling. So, I mean,
Interesting.
I hope that she gets her, her good angel to speak up a little bit prouder, because I know she's got a good side to her too. But this was a massive lesson. Maybe this was a catalyst in her existence to actually think about that. Being that she said, I've never been physical before, what led her to be physical? And maybe she can learn from that. You know what I mean? And there can be some rapid healing. I like to have a
Yeah.
positive spin. I don't like do you know me? I don't like to dump on anybody,
No,
but
you don't. And I'm not jumping on her either.
no,
I'm just,
we're not. I know we're just airing stuff, but I do hope that she finds her soul again. And I hope she finds her soulmate too. I don't feel like she's happy.
you don't with her marriage.
No, I don't feel happy with her. I feel like she has this idea of love, you know? And I feel like their marriage is it's safe, but safety doesn't always mean comfort. Safe just means you have a meal tomorrow, you
Yeah,
know?
like they spend, this is why I'm not married. Because if
That's
someone were married to me and they said David is the safe option, that to me is the worst kiss of death. I would never want someone out there saying I was the safe option.
Oh,
That's,
110%.
I'd rather be
Because
single forever.
well, that's the thing. I feel like there's definitely like an area where we like, okay, we feel safe with our person with comfort, but they're not because they're safe. There's all these other qualities. You know what I mean? So if you describe your relationship as safe as your first word that comes up to it, then yeah, then I would definitely, think about, am I in the right relationship? And how do they feel about it? Because obviously if they think you're the safe option too, it would be just as